Hi, welcome back to our third video for 4.1, special angles. We are now going to take up Investigate C. It says, how can you use a unit circle, so a unit circle here, to find the trig ratio for any angle? So it says, starting from the x-axis, plot a point D such that the line OD forms an angle of 230. So remember, we always, our initial arm starts here, and then we always rotate counterclockwise for positive angles. So 230 degrees means we have to go past 90. We have to go past 180. This would be 180. All the way to 230 down here. So there is our terminal arm. And then it says draw a line from point D, so where it intersects the unit circle, all the way to the x-axis. So that's part one, that's already done. Part two, find the coordinates of the point D. So it says draw a vertical line to meet the x-axis at point E, so we did that. Then the angle EOD is the reference angle in standard position. So remember that angle, that reference angle? It's always the angle, the acute angle with the x-axis. So this is obtuse because it's greater than 90. This is also obtuse. So it needs to be the acute angle, the tiny angle inside. That's our reference angle. I'm going to draw that in green again. Okay, that's our reference angle. Okay, part three, measure OE and ED. Use the measurements to determine the coordinates of point D. So let's go ahead and we'll do this right here, step three. So if I were to measure these, I can see I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5, almost 5 points on the grid. Okay, so here is 0.5. So halfway from 0.5, it's negative 0.5 by the way, halfway to negative 1, this would be negative 0.75. So I'm thinking we're almost there. We're probably just maybe a little bit past negative 0.75. So that's a negative value there. Let me move that over. Okay, apologies for that. Okay, and this one here for point E, the x-axis, there's negative 0.5, and I'm almost one more. So it looks like I'm probably around like 0.68 if I had to guess this point here. Maybe 675. It's a little bit hard to measure those. Okay, so it says use those to kind of get a value for point D. So I'm going to say point D is equal to the x value is negative 0.68 and the y value is negative 0.75. Okay, they're both negative because it's the Cartesian plane, right? Where negative values for y, negative for x. Now it says find sine of 230, cos of 230, and tan of 230. So I'm not going to use my calculator. I'm going to use the information here. If I redraw this triangle, it looks like this. Negative 0.68, negative 0.75, and it's right angle. Remember, it's a unit circle, so the radius is always 1, so the hypotenuse is 1. Okay. To do sine of 230, all we need to do is use the acute angle here. We just have to do sine of this, right? The reference. So it looks like it's going to be opposite for sine over hypotenuse. So we're going to get negative point, well, let's go back to blue, negative 0.75. Okay, and I know it's over 1, so it's just going to be negative 0.75. Cos of 230, that's going to be the adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, it's going to be A over H. So we'll have negative 0.68 also over 1, which is just negative 0.68. And to do tan, it's going to be opposite over adjacent. So negative 0.75 over negative 0.68. And I kind of do need to use a calculator to evaluate that, so I will clear some of those old ones off. So the negatives are going to cancel, but I'll put it in anyways. Negative 0.75 divided by negative 0.68. We get 1.102. So I'll just write 1.10. Okay, the tan ratio is positive. All the other ones are negative. Notice the slope of this. The slope of this is a little bit steeper than 1. It's this value right here, and it's positive. Okay, so slope will always give us tan of the angle. All right, now for the fun part. It says, explain why sine 230 and cos 230 are negative, but tan is positive. So, well, if you remember, the point here, the ordered pair, the x value is cos of 230, and the y value is sine of 230. Okay, remember this point, it's always cos of this angle for the x, and then sine of this angle for the y. So that makes it real easy. We kind of found this point, so that's how we got sine and cos. And then tan, we just divide this one over this one. So if these are both negative, because we can see where this point is located, remember we got negative 0.68 and we got negative 0.75 here, we can see these are both negative. So cos is definitely negative, sine is definitely negative, and when you divide one by the other, you get a positive value. Let's check our calculator, because I know these are kind of approximations from using the graph, so I'm pretty curious to see what happens. Let's do sine of 230, negative 0.766, so I was actually pretty close. I got negative 0.75. Okay, cos of 230, negative 0.64, so not too bad either. And then tan of 230, 230, 1.19. So I got 1.10, it's about 1.2. So not too bad for using the unit circle to get my trig ratios. So that's how we can do this for any angle. You're going to see in the next videos, we're going to do some examples, and we're just going to keep finding more exact values for trig ratios. We'll do some that are less than 90, other examples were greater than 90, and then we'll do an application question. Okay, that's it for this video. I will see you guys in the next one.